Welcome to the deep dive. This time, we're going to take a look at something. You're clearly interested in AI, in information technology.
Sure.
Your source material, this deep dive report from the research staff over at Cognition.Info, it really paints a pretty compelling picture of what's happening. And I think it's safe to say this is about way more than just, some cool new tech.
Absolutely.
Right.
AI is on track to completely change how how businesses operate, how they compete,
Yeah.
and the market projections really reflect that. We're
Right.
talking about a market that's expected to reach a whopping $125.4 billion by 2028.
So let's dive right into the why now. Why is this happening now? The report points out some pretty major issues in IT today.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that the average enterprise manages over 900 applications
Oh, wow.
and gets hit by over 1,000 cyber attacks every single week?
It's a lot.
It's honestly a bit mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is.
Today's IT landscape is so incredibly complex. We have hybrid cloud environments, the Internet of Things, millions of devices generating just mountains of data.
Mountains and mountains.
Managing all of that manually is becoming practically impossible.
Yeah, it really is.
So it sounds like we're at a tipping point. I'm curious, what are the main factors that are driving this kind of massive shift towards AI and IT?
Well, as we touched on, complexity is a huge factor.
Yeah.
Traditional IT management just simply can't keep up with the sheer volume and the speed of today's technology. But it goes beyond that.
Okay.
We have this desperate shortage of skilled IT professionals globally,
Yeah.
and the cybersecurity landscape is a constant arms race.
So how does AI fit into all of this? Is it the silver bullet everyone's hoping for?
It's not necessarily a silver bullet, but I think AI offers a way to manage this escalating complexity, not necessarily by replacing humans, but by augmenting their capabilities. So imagine like an IT team that can handle maybe 35 to 50% more infrastructure with the same number of staff.
Wow.
That's the kind of impact we're talking about.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about robots taking over. It's about empowering existing teams to do more.
Exactly. It's like, giving them superpowers to tackle those routine, time-consuming tasks.
Yeah.
Freeing them up to focus on strategic planning, problem solving, those kind of things.
Okay, so AI is stepping up to address these kind of critical challenges in IT.
Yes.
But how exactly is it impacting different parts of the IT world? I'm really curious to understand where this is all going.
Sure. So let's start with IT infrastructure management.
Okay.
One of the most significant areas of impact is the rise of autonomous operations.
Okay.
I think self-healing systems that can identify and fix problems before they even impact users.
So really being proactive.
Exactly. It's like, like having a self-driving data center.
A self-driving data center that sounds incredibly futuristic.
It is.
Does that mean lights out operations are actually becoming a reality?
We're definitely moving in that direction.
Wow.
Yeah. So now let's shift gears and talk about software development.
Okay.
This is where things get particularly interesting.
Okay. I'm ready to have my mind blown. What's happening in software development?
Right. So AI is beginning to play a role in actually writing code.
What?
Imagine AI tools that can analyze requirements,
Okay.
suggest code snippets, even identify potential bugs before they become problems.
Yeah.
It's a whole new way of thinking about how software gets built.
Wait, AI writing code? That sounds a bit like science fiction.
It does. It does.
Are we talking about robots replacing human developers?
Not quite.
Yeah.
Think of it more as AI augmenting the skills of human developers.
Okay.
It's like having an expert pair programmer constantly available, offering insights and catching those errors in real time.
Yeah.
This allows developers to focus on those higher level tasks that really require that creativity and problem solving.
So it's more about collaboration than replacement, which is a relief. What about cybersecurity? I feel like that's a never-ending battle with the attacks becoming more and more sophisticated all the time.
It definitely is a challenging area, but AI is offering some new tools to kind of fight back.
Okay.
So, AI-powered cybersecurity platforms can analyze massive amounts of data
Right.
to detect and respond to threats much, much faster than humans.
Okay.
They can spot those subtle patterns and anomalies that might indicate an attack is underway,
Yeah.
essentially acting as digital detectives.
That's reassuring to hear, especially considering the sheer volume of cyber attacks companies face.
Yeah.
But AI can't be a magic bullet, right?
What are some of the challenges that come with this technology?
You're absolutely right. There are definitely challenges and potential risks to consider. One of the biggest is data quality.
Yeah,
The AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on.
makes sense.
So if the data is incomplete or inaccurate or even biased, the AI can make bad decisions, potentially creating new problems instead of solving them.
So garbage in, garbage out, even with AI.
Pretty much, yeah.
What other challenges did the report highlight? Another key challenge is the black box problem.
Okay.
Often it's difficult to understand why an AI system makes a particular decision.
Okay.
And this lack of explainability can be a major concern, especially in areas like security and compliance, where we need to be able to trace those decisions
Right.
and understand the logic behind them.
That makes sense.
Uh,
We need to be able to trust these systems if we're going to rely on them. It's not just about having cool technology, it's about understanding how it works and making sure it aligns with our values and ethical considerations.
Absolutely. Transparency and trust are essential for widespread adoption of AI in any field, especially one as critical as information technology.
So we've talked about, some of the challenges, but what are some of the opportunities that have you really excited about AI and IT?
Yeah.
The report highlighted some pretty, mind-bending
Like
innovations,
does, yeah.
and I'm eager to kind of dive into those.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's start with, where do you want to start?
Mm.
Well, one that I find particularly fascinating is the rise of these autonomous IT operations platforms.
Yeah.
These platforms leverage AI to manage entire IT infrastructures, monitoring systems, detecting issues, even automating fixes.
Like it's great. Like the potential there is huge, you
Yeah.
know.
So it's like having an AI assistant that takes care of all the day-to-day IT headaches, freeing up human teams for more strategic work. Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine being able to shift your focus from reactive firefighting to proactive planning and innovation.
Yeah,
That's the promise of these platforms.
it's a game changer for sure. What other opportunities are you seeing emerge in this space?
Another area that I'm really excited about is AI augmented software development.
Yeah.
So we're seeing tools now that can generate code from natural language descriptions,
Wow.
analyze code for vulnerabilities, and even suggest improvements to make code more efficient, more readable.
That sounds incredibly powerful. Can you give me a concrete example of how this is being used in practice?
Sure. So imagine a developer who's working on a complex piece of software.
Okay.
Instead of having to write every single line of code from scratch, they can use an AI-powered tool
Yeah.
to describe what they want that code to do in just like plain English.
Yeah.
And the tool can then generate the code automatically, saving the developer a huge amount of time and effort.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like having a coding assistant that actually understands what you're trying to achieve. But
Yeah.
what about the quality of the code? Can we really trust AI to write code that is reliable and secure?
Yeah, that's a very valid concern. The quality of AI-generated code is constantly improving, but it's still important to have that human oversight, that human review.
Yeah.
These tools are best seen as assistants, not replacements for human developers.
Right.
They can help with the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's still up to the humans to make sure that code is high quality, that it meets all the necessary standards.
All right, so let's move on to those mind-bending innovations that the report teased. Let's start with generative AI.
Okay.
What exactly is it?
Yeah.
And how is it impacting IT?
So generative AI is all about using AI to create new content, whether it's text, images, music, or even code. It's powered by these incredibly powerful models called large language models,
Okay.
which have been trained on massive data sets of text and code.
Right.
And they can learn patterns and relationships within this data
Yeah.
and then use that knowledge to generate entirely new content that's often indistinguishable from human-created content.
So we're talking about AI systems that can write poetry or compose symphonies. How does that apply to the world of IT?
Well, so think about all the documentation, the reports, and even code comments that IT professionals have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure.
Generative AI can automate a lot of that, kind of tedious work.
Right.
Imagine an AI that can write up a technical report based on your verbal instructions.
Yeah.
Or generate code comments that really clearly explain what a particular piece of code is doing.
That's really interesting. It could free up so much time for IT professionals to focus on more strategic tasks. But how do we ensure the quality and the accuracy of, the content generated by AI?
That's a crucial consideration. Right now, it's still important to have humans in the loop to review and edit the output of these AI systems.
Right.
They're tools that can assist and augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely.
Okay, so generative AI is about enhancing productivity and efficiency in IT. What about the other mind-bending innovation mentioned in the report? Quantum-resistant security. That one sounds a bit ominous.
It is, yeah. It's a bit of a head scratcher at first,
Yeah.
but it's becoming increasingly important. So quantum computing is a rapidly developing field with the potential to revolutionize a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
But it also poses this significant threat to our current cybersecurity infrastructure.
Wait, how does quantum computing threaten our cybersecurity? I'm not sure I follow.
So quantum computers are incredibly powerful,
Okay.
and they have the potential to break the encryption algorithms that we rely on today to protect sensitive data.
Oh, wow.
So this means that in the future, with powerful enough quantum computers, all our passwords, financial transactions, confidential information could be vulnerable to attack.
So this is a potential threat that we need to start preparing for now.
Exactly. And that's where quantum-resistant security comes in. So researchers are developing new encryption algorithms that are resistant to attacks from even the most powerful quantum computers,
Okay.
ensuring that our data remains secure, even in the quantum age.
So it's like a race against time to develop these new security measures before quantum computers become powerful enough to break our current encryption.
You could say that. It's a fascinating and rapidly evolving field. A lot of really bright minds working to, kind of stay ahead of the curve. And the good news is AI is actually playing a pretty crucial role in this effort. So AI algorithms can the development of these new quantum-resistant encryption algorithms.
Okay. So AI is both the potential threat and a key part of the solution when it comes to quantum computing and cybersecurity. What was that last mind-bending innovation the report touched on?
Yes, digital twins. This is a concept that's been around for a while, but it's gaining new momentum thanks to advancements in AI and data analytics.
I've heard the term before, but honestly, I'm still a bit fuzzy on what a digital twin actually is. Can you break it down for me?
Sure. So a digital twin is a virtual representation of a physical asset or system.
Okay.
It's like a digital simulation that mirrors the behavior of the real-world counterpart,
Okay.
allowing you to monitor, analyze, and even predict how the system will perform under different conditions.
So it's like having a virtual copy of something that exists in the real world.
Exactly.
What does that have to do with IT?
So imagine creating a digital twin of your entire IT infrastructure.
Okay.
Your servers, your networks, applications, everything.
Okay.
And you can use this digital twin to test changes, simulate different scenarios, and optimize performance without risking any disruption to your live systems.
That sounds incredibly useful. It's like having a virtual sandbox where you can experiment and play around without any real-world consequences.
Exactly. And AI plays a key role in making these digital twins more accurate and powerful.
Okay.
So AI algorithms can analyze data from the real-world system
Right.
and use it to constantly update and refine the digital twin, ensuring that it remains this faithful representation of its physical counterpart.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but it also feels a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's so much happening in the world of AI and IT,
Yeah.
and it's all moving so fast.
It can definitely feel like you're drinking from a fire hose sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, you don't have to become an AI expert overnight.
Right.
The key is to just start small, focus on the areas that are most relevant to your work or your interests, and be willing to learn and adapt.
Okay, so we've covered like a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring the challenges, the opportunities, even some mind-bending innovations that are shaping the future of AI and IT.
It's a lot.
But I think now it's time to get practical. The report we've been discussing actually offers some really specific recommendations for different stakeholders, tech providers, businesses, and investors. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on those.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's one thing to understand the trends, but it's another thing entirely to know how to actually act on them.
Yeah.
So let's start with the tech providers, right? They're the ones building the AI solutions that are really driving this transformation. So what do they need to focus on to be successful in this rapidly evolving landscape?
Well, the report really emphasizes the importance of data integration.
Right.
As we discussed earlier, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. Right.
And Right now, a lot of IT data is siloed in different systems,
Yeah.
which makes it really difficult for AI systems to get a complete picture.
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. Tech providers need to create solutions that can, seamlessly integrate with existing IT infrastructure, pulling data from multiple sources, creating a unified view. It's not just about having data; it's about having the right data in the right format
Yeah.
and accessible to the AI systems that actually need it.
So it's about building bridges between different data sources,
Yeah.
breaking down those silos. What about the issue of trust?
Yeah.
When we talked earlier about, the need for explainability in AI systems,
Right.
how can tech providers build that trust with their customers, especially when these systems are making such critical decisions about IT infrastructure and security?
Yeah, transparency is absolutely key.
Yeah.
Tech providers need to be open and honest about how their AI systems work, what data they use, and how they arrive at their decisions.
Um, they also need to provide tools and mechanisms for humans to understand and interpret the output of these systems.
Right.
So we're not just blindly trusting these black boxes.
Yeah, it's about making that AI's reasoning process visible. So
Yeah.
it feels less like magic and more like a tool that we can, understand and control.
Right.
Now, what about the businesses that are adopting these AI solutions?
Yeah.
What do they need to do to prepare for this, new world of AI-powered IT?
One of the most important things is for businesses to assess their data maturity.
Okay.
Do they have the right data infrastructure in place to support AI systems? Is their data clean, accurate, organized? If not, they need to invest in data management, data governance before they even think about implementing AI.
So data is the foundation upon which everything else is built.
Yeah.
What other considerations should businesses keep in mind as they embark on this AI journey?
I think change management is critical.
Yep.
Implementing AI in IT is not just about, plugging in a new piece of software.
Yeah.
It requires a shift in mindset, in processes, and potentially even in job roles.
Right.
So businesses need to be proactive in communicating with their employees, providing training, and creating a culture that embraces innovation and continuous learning.
It's about bringing everyone along for the ride.
Yes.
Helping them understand the benefits and address their concerns.
Right.
Now, let's be realistic. AI can be a significant investment.
You can.
How can businesses ensure they're actually getting a return on that investment?
Yeah. So the report recommends starting with those high-value use cases. Don't try to do everything at once.
Right.
Focus on, specific areas where AI can deliver those tangible benefits.
Right.
Like automating repetitive tasks, improving security, or optimizing system performance.
Yeah.
And always measure those results.
Yeah.
Track the metrics that really matter to your business, and make sure that AI solution is delivering on its promises.
So it's about being strategic and focusing on the areas where AI can really make the biggest impact.
Exactly.
Now, finally, let's talk about investors. AI in IT is a hot market,
It is.
attracting a lot of attention and a lot of investment. What advice would you give to investors who are looking to capitalize on this trend?
So investors need to be discerning, right?
Okay.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but it's important to look beyond those buzzwords and evaluate companies, really carefully. Look for companies that are solving real problems, not just chasing trends.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the team. Do they have the right mix of technical expertise, domain knowledge, and business acumen?
Okay.
And, carefully assess their go-to-market strategy. How are they going to reach their target customers and build a sustainable business?
So it's about doing your due diligence, just like any other investment.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything in this deep dive into AI and information technology. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
The key takeaway here is that AI is not just a technology trend. It's a fundamental shift that's reshaping the IT landscape and really the business world as a whole. And, those who embrace this change, who are willing to learn, to adapt, to experiment, they will be the ones who thrive in this new era. It's an exciting time to be in IT, full of challenges and opportunities.
It's true. That's an inspiring message to end on. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative, insightful, and maybe even a little bit mind-bending. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.